can you share some ideas on how to teach retell? After I read my son a story and ask him to retell, he only gives some nouns or action verbs that are involved in the story, and thank you very much.
There's a lot of skills to retelling. And there is, it's not only words, but it's the auditory memory aspect too. And you have to remember that all our kids, they're learning to speak is almost like learning another language. That's what it is. So like when I go to Hong Kong, I grew up speaking Cantonese, but when I have this weird delay. People talk to me and then there's this kind of pause and then I can respond. And the longer I'm there, the faster my fluency goes. And people always comment, in stores and shops, they'll just be like, where are you from? Because you can speak, but it's just a weird delay that happens. And it's because I just am not as fluent as English. And so I always tell parents, when you're talking about retelling something, there's a lot of elements in it. Because some of our kids do have some type of auditory memory processing delay where you have to give them some time to kind of get it all through their system. And if you wait a little bit longer, they're able to retell it. But if you ask too soon, it's very difficult. But that's a portion of the population. Not everybody has a delay. But also the words that he's picking up to tell you may be the only words that he really understands. You know, earlier I talked about concrete versus abstract concepts. And a lot of times our kids know the concrete, no problem. Car is amazingly concrete, right? Because they get in it and they play with it and there's all these things. But getting a little bit more abstract is color, because a cup can be blue, but also a car can be blue and my shirt can be blue. And if they don't know what a shirt, a car, or a cup is, they're going to be really confused. So, you know, but it's like the first aspect. And once they get color, then we're talking about things that are dependent on variables such as prepositions, spatial information. I can say this is behind my computer, but if I move my computer, it might be in front of my computer now, you know? And so just learning that spatial aspect. And I would actually, when you read to your child and he repeats back the words, I actually would write down what those words are. And I would say like, what words isn't he retelling? Because it gives you an idea of his understanding of those words. He's probably repeating all the words that he knows for sure. They're fluent, they're easy to, you know, bring out of memory, you know, no problem. But I would look at what all those other words are, because that probably gives you an idea of how fluent or how much he understands what those words are. And then putting it together, you know, is also an issue. But retelling, and sometimes our kids, like when they get to the point, you know, we work on conversation and retelling's hard, it's hard. And finally they get to the point where they can tell me, I've had a kid tell me, why do you want me to retell this? Because you were here with me.
And doesn't that make sense? Yeah.
I always say ABA kids are a little bit confused about questions because we ask them questions that we know the answer to already. So there's a important in ABA programming where I work with supervisors and saying, okay, you really need to teach them what questions are, gain information, and it's not just to repeat what you already know. And going between that aspect to really understanding what a question is for, the kids get so confused. But you've been asking me my name for like a year, and you know my
name.
And
right.
You know, and then that's, you know, and that gets in the whole perspective taking, right? Because, and you're telling them like, I was asking your name because I want to make sure you knew your name. I didn't know your name, you know, it was just, I needed to make sure that you could respond. And then they're like, oh, okay. And then there's like a host of other questions that come. But initially, you know, ABA does, you know, make the understanding of what a question is for a little bit skewed. But once you get them to the point where they understand that they can ask a question that they don't know, that they need information on, and a lot of times it's usually has to do with their schedule coming. They want to know what's coming. And if just by doing that, that is helpful. But recalling information, I mean, I remember being blown away by this kid that's like, why are you always, like all you people are constantly asking me things that you already know? And I was like, oops, okay, I need to, you know, be able to go back. So there's different reasons, but initially take down notes on the words that he is repeating back to you. Look at the, words that he's not repeating, and figure out like how fluent they are for him, how easy it is for him to use those words.
Hey, thanks for watching Autism Live. To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.